What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Freeman knives 451 fixed blade. I did a first impressions on this several months ago when I got this. Had a chance to use it this summer. Normally I'll go camping, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. I only had a chance about 3 times this summer, but I did get sufficient use of this guy to make a very informed opinion and decision on it in terms of the goods and the bads. So we're going to talk about, again, this is the Freeman 451 fixed blade from Freeman Outdoors, designed by Jeff Freeman himself, designer and maker. This knife weighs 9.7 ounces for just the knife, with this amazing sheath, which will be one of the major pros about this, as well as the fire steel, as well as a fire striker in there. That is 1 pound and 3 ounces. So you end up adding a whole lot more. But let's talk a little bit about this. It has a 4.2 inch blade, 3.8 inches of usable, because you have that very generous forward finger choil there. It has Coca-Cola wood handles. It's 154 cm steel, which is a great balance of, toughness as well as stainlessness. And actually it held a hell of an edge. So, the heat retention on this, and kind of jumping ahead, was really one of the great things about it. And it priced at $400. So this is, in fact, a custom handmade knife. These are not, made in, a factory with massive quantities. And again, it does come with this great sheath. There's a lot to it. A lot of this stuff is removable. It does have straps right here that allow for scalp carry, which I included in that front side montage. It has a really nice, I love that this rotates around. For locking that thing in. The buttons are all great quality, but I also love, for me, just to open that up and slide that back, because when this is at your hip, no real problems, and you don't necessarily have to latch that thing in. So I really like that. And these are fully removable too. If you take a look, you can actually unscrew these guys. In fact, let me go ahead and pop that open. The back side actually screws off on both of these mountings here. So just a lot of, this is a Ramos custom leather, and it's really good. You can see it right there. It says Ramos Leather Customs. What a great sheath, great quality. I guess, we just jumped into some of it. You're going to see that a lot of leather chunks are left out here. In fact, I will go ahead and show that right there. This knife comes so sharp that just in and out of use, it's definitely going to cut that that basically that spacing leather there and leave lots of little bits of leather. So I may be wiping a lot of leather around here. A lot of stuff that we're talking about before we can get into this. Let's go ahead and jump into the knife. In terms of some comparisons or alternatives, let me go ahead and move that out of the way. On the kind of lower budget end, for me, the Joker Knives Ember is a little bit more bushcrafting with that Scandi grind. That was definitely kind of in consideration for what could be an alternative, and that's only $120. Let's go ahead and bring in the Castrom Knives Lars Fault. Has a little bit longer blade. This is just over a 5-inch blade, and that has wood handles as well, just maple wood handles. So that knife goes for $160. And then as you kind of step up a little bit in price, the Bark River Bravo 1 fixed blade, which is a full convex, so not full convex, but nearly full convex, but convex all the way to that edge there. And that's made out of 3D steel. That one goes for just over $300. And maybe a little bit, unlike those other two, the Lars Fault and the Joker Knives Ember is maybe a little bit better suited to all-around tasks, which this one is as well. Plus this one handles the wood, would be good for hunting. You're not necessarily going to want a tip like these necessarily for a hunting knife. I think this one with the bigger belly there would probably be a little bit more usable. And for me, this knife, I have not hunted. It's not my use case principally, but that's the use case that you're looking at. And then, for people might have some heartache over the price of this thing. For a custom knife with everything that's on this that we're going to be talking about, the Coca-Cola wood handles, the sheath, $400. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in something that's never kind of made it on my channel yet, but I bought this some time ago. This is actually a custom fixed blade. This is a W.A. Searles designed, and produced entirely by hand from Alan Searles. This one actually has walrus tusk handles, ironwood. It's a Sanmai with copper. You can kind of take a look at that. So, that is a $750 knife. So if you want to talk about, and that's called the Frontier. That was a custom Frontier knife. So, this kind of splits the difference between a fully customized and custom knife, where you're going to get some fairly exotic materials, and, a very high-end production one like this Bark River. So that's kind of the comparison range that we're talking here in terms of some alternatives that you might consider for your outdoor use. Again, for this one, I would say its number one use case really would be hunting. The closest thing I did is I destroyed a turkey and tore that apart. Actually, it has just sufficient weight to go ahead and and tear through that. Again, one of the things I did on the front side montage. It has a better weight than some of those others, and you can actually with this nicer long handle, you can kind of really reach back and whack it more for a little chopping action. Has a very, very nice sized handle on this one. You know what? Again, my use case was principally camping, and it did a lot of things really well, a couple things not so well. Let's jump into them. From the outset, the sheath on this thing, I kind of already talked about it. It's extremely functional. It has this kind of open area here that you could put in a lighter or something like that. They just happen to provide the fire striking steel, because there's not really a fire striking spot on the knife. That might be one thing I would change about the thing. But for the most part, yeah, again, the snaps, everything about this is just oozes of quality, and I just love it. Absolutely love this sheath. So a super, super strong point on that one. Nice thick leather, multi-mountable. Just there's nothing wrong with that. It may be possibly a little heavy, but I'll take it, because like I said, you can lighten it, and if you're not going to go scout carry and take off all the additional straps, just lighten the thing up. Don't carry the fire steel if you don't want. Lighten that up. Again, some great things about that. The blade on this thing is definitely fantastic. 154 cm steel. A lot of people might have heartache over that, but that was, that's kind of one of your original great steels, and Bark River used it for a long, long time for their super tough fixed blades. Very stainless. I had no problems with this staining, and I had all sorts of sap and stuff on it through the season. It came right off, no staining at all. So I didn't have to do any of the stuff that I had to do with, this Schleitner steel over here on the Castrom Lars fault. So I didn't even have to sharpen this thing. Of course, I will say I used it only 3 times camping, but I used the heck out of this thing on wood. Beat the snot out of it on wood. No rolling or chipping on this edge. If you take a look at that, that is a hand convexed 20-degree mirror polished edge, and it is extremely sharp. One time I reached forward a little bit too fast, and instead of getting my finger in that choil, just barely touched it, and it actually gashed pretty dang deep there. So one of the things maybe you got to watch for on that forward choil a little bit is just reaching your hand in too fast on that one. Again, the forward jimping on this thing is really, really good on this blade. It has it here if you're going to be holding it in the saber grind. Could maybe be a little more aggressive, but I think it's good enough. It has this nice forward one. Again, that might be the position with this big belly that you're going to be skinning an animal. So for my money, this might be the perfect blade for my money, I think, for probably skinning a pretty large animal. And like I said, the steel and the heat treat on this thing, unreal. So really, really good. The thing splits wood really, really great. It's very thick blade stock, and it does only come up to about a half height saber grind. And so as a result, once you get it into the wood and you're banging this thing up on this forward area here, swedge, it went right through wood. Not super big wood, it's only, again, a 4.2 inch blade, so you're not going to do huge logs. You're going to be able to do a little bit bigger logs, again, with something like on the Lars fault. But it's able to handle exactly what the Joker Knives Ember could do. So again, if you're talking about kind of that smaller mid range fixed blade that can almost do everything, does a really good job on splitting the wood. Let's talk about this handle. The handle is beautiful. I haven't yet oiled it up. I have washed it a few times with soap and water. Did great. I will definitely say cocobolo wood is harder than maple wood, at least from my experience. It took a lot of banging on wood as it was going in, and I really didn't see any sort of, basically defects coming through here, or dings in it that I did on that maple from the Castron. So the cocobolo wood is not only hard, he has a great diamond pattern on it. Hopefully that shows through well. But so it's really good with gloves or without. It has a decent swell there. This might be made for a little bit bigger hands, possibly like Satu Dave sized hands, just because it has that ginormous, I won't call it choil, but a finger groove there. Again, that really fit my hand better when I had gloves on, but without gloves, it's not too bad. So definitely built for a little bit larger size hands. Really good handle though. And like I said, the texturing, really well done. On the con side, this thing feather sticks like crap, but with that grind, with everything about it, it's not gonna feather stick well. I could get through and do some of it there, like I put on that front side montage. Really not good. I mean, and when I was out there, I really just kind of gave up on feather sticking with this one. I tried it a few times out on the camping, and I'm like, nope, just go get my convex, my full convex Bark Rivers to handle that, and it did a better job. And also I had a Falkneven, so that was kind of what it was competing in time with. And so it doesn't do that so well, and it doesn't slice so well. On the apple cut test, this thing is going to split it. Once again, the grind on it, the really thick blade stock, I wouldn't expect this to be a great slicer. Can you get through food, though, if you need to? Yeah, you can. And you can certainly get through bone and other things and ligament. So all things considered, pretty good. I think the two last things I would say, maybe on the con side, just a little bit for me. But in warmer weather, not a big deal. In colder weather, just the fact that you have the shadow boxing of the metal knife there that sticks out beyond the wood or the frame, you end up with the metal as a delivery agent. So if it's a cold morning, you're going to be feeling the metal first and foremost. It'll be a little bit cold on your hands. Huge deal, no. And then the last thing I really would say is, instead of including a separate fire steel striker, you could grind out somewhere, and I may yet even grind out a little spot on this. I'm thinking possibly towards the end here, and just make just literally get out the Dremel, make a little spot there that I can then use for a fire steel striking right there on the end. It's just one of the things, if I can carry less, I'd prefer to, and do more functionality. So, just not having a real good place or anything, I could also possibly just grind this back swedge here, either flatten that off on the top side to give myself something, or, even actually just take those to a possible sharper edge there. It's not the sharpest on that swedge there. So two different places that I could very easily modify this. It'd be nice not to have to, though. I think for my money, given the fact that it has these nice forward as well as rear lanyard attachments, I think possibly right there. It doesn't really need that lanyard attachment for my money. And then just a slight little divot there, I think, or possibly even just round that off. It obviously destroyed the pig, the ceramic pig, very fine, and then, so the pommel works great. On the whole, I would say this is possibly the best overall hunting knife that can also handle some camping tasks that one could get. It does come with a price, but it has a sheath that will last you a lifetime. And beautiful to use, very sturdy. I kind of threw this one around more than I do a lot of my sheaths. Part of it was it's very thick leather and just super well done. So yeah, if I was only gonna have one knife and be on a hunting trip, that I was gonna be camping and maybe having to process a little bit of wood too, this might be the knife. Certainly, I would choose it over some of those others for some of those hunting tasks. And like I said, I just destroyed that turkey, absolutely chopped through the breastbone without much problem at all. Actually, I ended up cutting myself on the breastbone, pieces that were left behind, not on the knife itself. So yeah, I would say overall, this is a really, really good American-made knife designed by Jeff Freeman, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Comes with a little bit of extra price, but I think that you're getting good value for that. So hope this was of use. If it was, I appreciate the like and subscribe, and have a great day. Take care now.